Okay, before I get started with this review, one easy beansy tiny teeny thing that just really bothers me with movies like this is just that, why is it that when she cuts her own hair, it still looks like it was done by a hairstylist? Laser is 'cause I like sci-fi. The dude is 'cause I am a rat guy. The 99 is 'cause I like Wayne Gretzky. That's why I'm Lazy Dude 99. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm LazyDude99, and welcome to my review of Insurgent. This is the sequel to the Divergent movie that came out last year about this dystopian future that has each of its members of its culture separated into different factions. And there are certain people that don't belong in any one faction because they encompass all of the attributes of all factions, and they are called the Divergents. They are hunted down by this one evil woman, and we follow one particular Divergent, Triss, as she and her boyfriend 4 make it through this world while being hunted down. So let me just recap in case you didn't see my review of the first one, what my feelings are on Divergent. I think it's okay. It's nothing that great. There are some aspects of the movie that make it a little bit laughable, but there are some parts of it that make it entertaining to watch. This one is an interesting movie. We start off, we got Triss, Four's dad, and that one guy played by Miles Teller, who now, he seems, after watching Whiplash, he seems like, you're way too talented to be in this film. But anyway, the last guy was the guy that was betraying them in the first movie, who is now, I guess, stuck with him. And Triss's brother. And they're all hiding out in the faction that is the farming faction. Don't expect me to remember the names of these factions, because the only ones I'm going to remember is Dauntless and Abnegation. I don't even remember what Abnegation is even. Is it the brain ones? Either way, I'm not going to remember all of them. So basically, they're hiding out, they're on the run, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So Kate Winslet's character comes across this box that has all this information in it that can only be opened by a Divergent. And it turns out that they find out that Triss is the most powerful Divergent of them all, whatever that means. So she needs Triss to open this box so we can do more cool simulator scenes that were from the first one. I will say this about Divergent, is the actors are actually pretty good. You know, we have Shailene Woodley, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I had a mess of a time in the last review trying to pronounce her name. Shailene Woodley, she plays Triss, and you know what? She's a good actress. Hey, that rhymed. I don't exactly know what her character is going... Well, I know what she's going through, but I don't fully buy her character motivation, because she starts right in the beginning of this. She's like, we need to kill Janine, who is, of course, Kate Winslet's character. We need to kill her. We need to just kill her, and everything will be good and everything. And so she's feeling like everyone around her just ups and dies, which, to be honest, yeah, they do. I was mentioning how in the first movie, it was almost comical how her father dies, her mother dies, she shoots her friend because he was mind controlled and all that. And so she's feeling, in this movie, she's feeling like vulnerable because she feels like anybody who gets around her gets killed that she loves. And the one thing that makes it kind of hard to buy, though, is that she was in the first movie, there was a moment where she had totally beaten Kate Winslet's character, and she just leaves her and lets her live. If she was so like, oh, we need to kill her, wouldn't she have just, you know... Huh. That was surprisingly easy. Well, tacos on me. I guess you could argue that she became more bitter during and while they were running away, but I don't know. The fact that she let her live after doing all of the stuff that happened to her in the first movie, and now she's like, oh, we gotta kill her. I'm just like, well, why didn't you kill her before? But in the end there, I still think her acting is pretty good. You know, when she's afraid, you buy that she's afraid. When she is strong, she's strong. The one thing I will say, though, is she's not exactly the right build. And I'm just saying, though, because there's a lot of scenes where there's a lot of fighting going on, and I'm just like, she's way too skinny and not muscular enough for it to work. You know, in comparison this to, let's say, the Hunger Games, when Jennifer Lawrence throws a punch or kicks somebody, I can believe that it hurts because Jennifer Lawrence looks muscular enough to throw that off. With, you know, her, I don't get that. It looks more like... You know, and if it's okay if you want to have your characters that if she doesn't look as strong, you're going to have to, you know, make sure you show that her moves are using a different style, you know? That she's not just, you know, trying to brute her way in. If she doesn't have the muscle, it makes it hard to buy that she can just go and barrel somebody over. When I'm like, well, she doesn't look like she has the muscle to actually pull something like that off. So you got to show that her fighting uses different tactics, you know, maybe pressure points or something like that. I'm just saying that for her, it always, whenever there's fight scenes, I'm always like, would that really hurt? I mean, like, okay, it hurt a little bit, but, you know, she doesn't seem like as muscular as she could have been. That's a nitpick for me, but it's something that kind of bothers me and stood out. There are a lot of stuff about her as a character that I'm bothered with. I will say that she, once again, though, isn't given enough personality. You know, I don't really get her as a character, who she's like, you know. Is she the strong, silent type like Katniss in the Hunger Games, or is she, you know, more emotional, or is, you know, she has a whole bunch of different moments where she acts different ways, and I'm never given a consistent feel for her that this is who she is. This is the type of character she is. Maybe that's the point, since she's a Divergent, but still, I'm just saying, I wish she had a little bit more personality to her. But she does have some. I mean, it's not like she is at, you know, Kristen Stewart level of unemoting. She emotes, and she still acts and feels. I just would like more personality, personally. 4, on the other hand, has, like to call anger face. Every time he's talking, he's angry. He's angry or he's scowling. You know, there's very few moments where he's actually, you know, looking happy or wants to crack a joke or something. I mean, 4, once again, he comes across as the strong man that wants to take care of her. And good for him, but, you know, personality. What does he like beyond being pissy? You know, I hate to bring everything back to the Hunger Games but, you know, this movie, in a lot of ways, a lot of it has the same similar feels as the Hunger Games sequels. It feels like, you know, they're amping up the stakes to be a little bit, because there's more death, there's more risk, there's more stuff like that involved. And there are some similar feels to it from the first one, and just like Kitchen Fire, it had a similar kind of story, but it took it in a new way. Same with this, in a little bit, in a slightly different. But as I was saying, for comparing, we got 4, who is always just angry and stoic, and sure, he can kick a lot of butt, and, you know, he doesn't say anything obnoxious or stupid, or it acts like a complete moron. He doesn't do any of those things, you know, he still acts like a good guy. But you compare it to him to, like, Josh Hutcherson as PETA, and he comes across as more, you know, he's, kinder, you know, but a strong guy, and he comes across as more caring, but he also comes across as smart, that he has, like, he does stuff that makes him seem like he's smart, but he's also caring, but he's also not someone who's getting, like, you know, he acknowledges that he has feelings for Katniss, but he's not going to, you know, just live in his entire life by that. He's going to be like, I have feelings for you, I've laid it on the table, whether you have feelings for me or not, I'm not going to let my life be ruled by that. I'm just going to live my life the way it is. I will admit that I'm very, very glad that there is no love triangle in this. That's what Divergent series has over the Hunger Games. No stupid love triangle. There's one guy, she's in love with that guy, good. That's fine. I will take that over love triangles any day. I will admit, though, they do have some chemistry, but it could have been a little bit more. You know, that's the thing. This movie isn't bad in the fact that, oh man, this is just stupid. Why are they doing this? That is a stupid line. You know, there's nothing like from, let's say, Jupiter Ascending, where you know, Triss says, I like dogs. I always like dogs. You know, something dumb like that. It's just. it's in a way, it's just its own. The characters are satisfactory, and I don't want my characters to be satisfactory. I want them to be great. And it's hard to be great when all you're doing is this. So I would say Theo James as 4, good character, not really a great. Ironically, the one that emotes the most personality out of all the characters in this movie is the jerk character played by Miles Teller. And as I was saying, you watch Whiplash and you're thinking, dude, I'm super psyched that you were going to be in Fantastic Four. I'm just going to, yeah, the guy's a great actor. Watch Whiplash, okay? Because he's absolutely great, and that guy has a future in acting. And in this one, like, let me just put it this way. I totally forgot what type of character he was in the first one because I didn't really know of him as an actor back then. And so I'm like, oh, is he a friend, or what is he? And then it wasn't until he betrays everybody in, like, the first 5 minutes of the movie, I'm like, oh, right, that's right, he was the jerk. But he plays such a good jerk. They're in, like, the kind place where all they do is, farm. And, one of the things is like, may kindness be with you, or something like that. And you see him, he's like, and he's this type of full strategist, thinks he's smarter than everyone type character, and he's using stuff to his advantage. He's butting in line saying, oh, may kindness be with you, may kindness be with you. And everyone's like, oh, yes. And he's like, he's being a jerk, but they can't see it. And later on, when he betrays him, he does it for, a reason. It's beneficial to him. And you know what? He emotes more personality. There's a moment when he says, like, something real jerky, like, oh, you should tell your brother to stay away from you because everybody around you dies. And, that, you're supposed to be like, oh, what a jerk. But I'm just like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have been laughing at that. That's kind of funny, though. Ironically, he actually, I would say, emotes the most personality. But in the end, as I say, it is just the type of classic jerky character. Nothing much to him other than that. I would say, though, if I want to go into what the biggest flaw of this series is, it's... Okay, I've never read the books, but I don't think it changes enough. There are certain characters where you just gotta roll your eyes up and like, why are you a character? What do you do? That lady who gave her, tattoos and said that she was a Divergent, she's still in this film. She's still getting herself a poster. She does nothing. What does she do? What is she doing in this film? She doesn't do anything. She just, is there. And they kind of, like, act like she's supposed to be a big, important character, but she's not. She's just there. Why? Something tells me, like, if this was the Hunger Games... I know, I'm bringing it back to the Hunger Games. But if this was the Hunger Games franchise, this type of character would have been cut, or at least not put into the movie as much, because it really serves no purpose to the story. If you're going to have a character, let them do stuff. Make them serve a purpose. Don't just throw them in there and have for the readers to say, oh, that's that person in the book, but she's not doing anything in the movie like she did in the book, but... she's there. Okay. Once again, we get other stuff, like her best friend that was in the thing. I said in the first one how, I liked her, but she doesn't do anything, really. She's just there to be the best friend. Same in this. She's just there to be the best friend. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't say anything. She has one scene where she finds out that Triss is the one who killed her boyfriend, and she's, like, really mad. And then one scene later, Triss saves her life, and now all of a sudden she's okay with it. We don't get to actually dive into what is she feeling, okay? She had one of her best friends kill her boyfriend who was under mind control. What does she feel? Does she feel angry at her but knows that she doesn't have any other choice? Does she feel like, she's responsible, she wanted to do it? Why? I don't know. Did she feel like, she could have done something better? I don't know. Those are questions that should have been asked and we should have been answered, but we are never answering them because we are never actually caring about her as a character because she's there and she doesn't do anything. But again, she's not annoying, she's not bad, she's just superfluous. It's kind of hard to be, like, angry at this film, because this film doesn't do anything outright horrible. I'm not bored throughout the film watching it. The characters aren't, like, saying stupid catchphrases or trying to be, like, it's not like they're, I will say that while there is some chemistry between Four and Triss, not a lot, really, only slight, tiny chemistry. But there's something, I guess. There's not enough time given to it for me to actually buy that they're falling in love, but I don't know. I'll go with it. As I said, I'll go with two characters who are already falling for each other and aren't going through some BS love triangle, or maybe they overheard something and heard it wrong, and there's some stupid love misunderstanding there. So while it's not great, it's not annoying, and that's kind of the film. It's not great, but it's not annoying. Kate Winslet as the villain Janine. Meh. I'll say that she's fine. She works as a villain. I still think that if Trish is so okay with killing her, she would have done it at the end of the first movie, but okay, whatever. I will say that the entire plot, this is kind of an annoying thing. The entire plot is revolving around a MacGuffin. If you don't know what a MacGuffin is, it's a mystical or unknown object that the villain or heroes want that could give them ultimate power. Marvel does this all the time with their movies. The Tesseract was a MacGuffin in Captain America and the Avengers. The Infinity Stone was a MacGuffin and Guardians of the Galaxy. What else? Actually, almost the Iron Man arc reactor itself was a MacGuffin in the first Iron Man movie. MacGuffins are all everywhere. They're always there's in there a lot in action movies, but it's so weird because it comes out of left field, and I might be reading this wrong, but it kind of gives the impression that the writer of the book didn't know that they were going to have this MacGuffin be a major plot of the story till they were writing the second book, because they say, "Oh, we found this in your mother's basement." I'm like, well, don't you think the mother would have told Triss about this or something, or said as soon as she found out she was a Divergent, told her about this device or something? I don't know. I'm just saying that. But the MacGuffin, it's an annoying trope that is around in movies, and I can get behind this annoying trope as long as you make the characters interesting enough for me to be entertained. And I don't know. These characters are really, really lacking in a lot of areas. I think the main problem with the villains, scheming and plotting is the fact that nobody really says what's wrong with having divergence. Nobody says. I get why the main villain doesn't like Divergence, because they can't be controlled by mind control stuff. I get that. But why does the whole world hate Divergence? In fact, nobody actually seems to care that much. There's a scene where she's, on trial and under this truth serum, and she says that she's a Divergent, and everyone just goes like, oh, neat. Okay, let me put it this way. I gotta give a comparison to the Hunger Games again. You know that by the third film in Hunger Games that Katniss is, really important and really essential to getting the different districts against the Capitol. She is essential because of what she represents, the hope and the inspiration that she has given to others. Now, that being said, nobody knows about Triss. Nobody. It's not like she's this legend out there that, ooh, look at Triss or anything. People know more about Thor than they do of Triss. So, it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's not like everyone thinks that, oh man, she's the hope. She's the thing. She's the one that everyone can look to. Nobody knows who she is. Nobody. And so, at the end, when there's a scene where she's like, everyone's looking to you. You've given them hope. I'm like, nobody knows who she is. Don't say that. Nobody knows that. The only character who I absolutely despise, though, is the brother. Okay, I'm just going to give my rating for this movie and then get into the spoilers part of this review to talk about this brother, because he's absolutely horrid. In the end, I'm giving Divergent a 6 out of 10. It's an above average film. While there are stuff about it that are slightly annoying, it's nothing that is absolutely horrid or anything. It's just it's an okay flick. If you're putting it on the teen novel movie adaptation, it's lower than Hunger Games, higher than Maze Runner, and that's where I'm going to put it, because It's not as good as the Hunger Games. It's not even close, but it's just not, It is better than some other movies. The acting is decent throughout. Some of the characters are very superfluous. Like, I have no idea what Octavia Spencer is doing in this film for just a character for about 10 minutes. We also have this other guy that's just thrown into the film that does absolutely nothing except a couple of lines that I don't even think are even given his name. But in the end, it's only if you really found the first one slightly interesting whether you would want to see this or not. But that's just what I'm saying. There's not a whole lot of other films here in March that are really, that entertaining. So, if you have some time to kill and you kind of like the first one, it'd be okay to watch. But it's not something that, oh man, you guys need to see this. Anyway, that was my rating. Now I want to get on to the spoiler parts, because there's a lot of stuff that I need to talk about that I don't actually want to spoil this movie, because I'm kind of recommending it. But her brother is one of the worst characters ever, because he's such an idiot. And, he knows they're fugitives from these people that want to kill his sister. Anyway, the brother it's just... He then sells out his sister for no good reason. We from what we've seen in the movies, they've actually gotten along with each other. Fortunate enough, they haven't had that many disagreements. He hasn't said that he thinks it, and he says stuff like, "You are proof that the Divergent problem has risen too far." I'm like, what proof? She's the one being hunted. She's the one being chased down by these people. She has no choice in the matter. If it was up to her, she would have just lived nicely forever and ever away in the Dauntless group. But no, it was because of the other woman who brainwashed all of the Dauntless group to shoot innocent people from his colony, including his mother and his father. And he's like, "You're the problem." No! They're the problem! Why can't you see that? And they don't give it any good reason why his character wouldn't see that. Like, if you want to do this, go that he's power hungry, okay? Don't put it like he thinks he's doing the right thing. Make him power hungry. He's like, "I don't want to be the one digging out of the gutters and eating stuff because of you. I want to be at the top. I want to be in control." Make him power hungry. Make him all-out villain. If you're going to make him all-out betray her, then do it all the way. Don't go back on this scene like, "Well, you're the real problem here." That makes him look like an idiot, and he's such an obnoxious character. There's a scene where he's like, "I'm just going to go back home and say, hey, I'm a fugitive, but you'll accept me, right?" And she's just like, "Don't do it." He's like, "I'm gonna do it, bye." And she just lets him go? I mean, I'm sorry, but if I was with my older, brothers or sisters, and they said, "You know what, I think I'm just gonna go back home and where they'll probably look for me and find me and get me arrested," I'll be like, "No! Smarten up! Let's go!" But you're an annoying character, so bye-bye, we'll see you in the climax. Not to mention the climax, it is all just a simulator room thing. And I get that you guys, these makers of this film, love doing it because it allows you to twist reality and do weird stuff, woo! But it's really just all spectacle with no substance. Yeah, she's opening this box and whatnot, but so what? It's really pointless, and okay, Trish is stupid for allowing herself to get captured like that. I mean, okay, first they're giving these stupid things, and she's given now she's part of the war. She has an army of half Dauntless, half unfranchised or factionless. And she's like, "Okay, well, we're gonna fight back. Okay, good." And then they use this mind control and these darts that are basically in all these Dauntless people that wraps around their arteries and just kills them and allows them to take control of their minds. Well, first of all, why don't you just do that with all the Dauntless people, have them all shoot all the factionless and bring Triss in? That seems like a more efficient way to do it. Or just have them all kill themselves, and boom, you have their army slashed in half. Boom, right there. And that thing, they solve magically. Nobody ever actually says how they solve it. It's just solved in the end, because they say, "Well, we can't just rip it out because it wraps itself around an artery, and then boom, if you rip it out, it's going to kill you." I'm like, well, okay, that's actually really smart. Okay, I can't wait to see how they, get around that. And they just say later, "Oh, we found a way to get around it." I'm like, well, what way? What way? Can you fill me in? I was actually really interested in that subplot. This whole thing that where they have the and why aren't you just using this to kill more people? But okay, then Trish just gives herself up. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're part of a war now. In a war, there's got to be casualties. Giving yourself up does absolutely nothing to help your side. You know, you got to accept that there's going to be people dying for your side because you are fighting for something that's, you know, fighting for your rights and whatnot. So to just give it up like that, I did not like that at all. So then so she hooks up to these machines, and she's going through them. I'm just like, well, okay, she's just going to solve everyone, you know? It's not like she's going to not solve it. And then there's a point where she, in a simulation, Ford busts in, and he's like, come on, let's go! And I'm just like, listen, movie, if I didn't buy that this was happening in the first movie, when you did this fake out reality part, I'm not gonna buy it when you do it the second time, okay? I'm just like, yeah, this isn't happening, blah, blah, blah. Ford's already captured. Because then, when Ford realizes that Trish is gone, oh no, I'm gonna get myself captured. Look, okay, if you're gonna have your characters, okay, he loves her so much. Fine, that's great. You have him convince the army, okay? That's what smart people do. You know, to just say, oh, I'm just going to run in with one gun and take on an entire army by myself. Oh, I'm captured. Big shock. I get what they're trying to say that, oh, he's in so love with her, he'll risk himself and anything. But there's a difference between doing something smart and doing something stupid. There's a point where Miles Teller's character says, wow, you're really stupid. I'm like, yeah, I'm agreeing with that guy. Speaking of Miles Teller's character, when he turns to the good side, I guess I do buy that he does, because he feels like he's being mistreated and not appreciated, and that the other people at least care that whether he lives or dies. So I buy that he turns, but you got a teeny weeny problem here, because we saw him put the needle in her. We all saw it. It wasn't like a sleight of hand where he just, you know, slapped her or something, or kicked her, or punched her in the back, and then we figure out later, like, oh, he put a needle in her or something like that. We saw him jab a needle in the back of her before she went in for the final simulation. So when she dies in that final simulation, you forgive me if I didn't actually buy that she died. I mean, of course I didn't, because she, you know, is the main character, but I didn't, forgive me if I actually saw him turning on them, because you showed it to us very easily, and then the big secret's revealed that there is life beyond the wall, and that there is plenty of people, and they did this experiment for a reason, but you have to watch the next one to find out what reason. It's a good twist, I guess. That's the thing. It is good, you know, it's to say, oh, like, oh, everything, but I'm just like, I don't really buy it, and then this is a frustrating movie. Okay, and then one little thing that bothered me so much. Oh, it bothered me. They're in the farm community. He says, just give me a couple of days. I just need a couple more days till I can find out where where the other Dauntless people are. And I'm like, what do you mean find out? You're on a farm. You have nobody out there giving you intel. You are on a farm. Where are you going to get this information from? The only way you're going to get this information is to go out and get it. You know, when you say, give me a couple of days to find out, where are you going to find out? Do you even have internet connection? Even if you did, the only way you would actually get anything is if it would be, you know, you're in prison now. And then when we go to find these other Dauntless, they're not, like, in hiding where they should be, because they've been blamed for a humongous massacre of this other faction. No, they're not hiding. They're just hanging out outside the Candor building, and they're just like, hey, there you are, what's up, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, aren't you guys fugitives? I mean, like, maybe, I don't know. It's just, basically, I don't think this is a franchise that's going to last the test of time. I think it's just going to be a fun thing to pick up. I haven't seen the first one on DVD since I saw it in theaters, and I'm probably not going to be seeing this one on DVD when it comes out on DVD. It's just something that, I'll see it. It's enjoyable to a point, I guess. It's not really great cinema, but it's not really heinous cinema either. It's just a movie that's okay. And you know what? If you want to see a movie that's just okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If somebody said, "Oh, I like the Divergent and Insurgent," I'm not going to say, "What's wrong with you? Are you an idiot?" No, it's something that people can enjoy. I would personally say that I would like something with a little bit more meat on it, a little bit more personality in its characters. But that's me. That's how I feel about it. So, in any case, I've gone on this long enough. I've already given my rating. Insurgent, it's okay. It's just okay. It's above average, I guess, because of the effects and the acting. But, for its characters, they're pretty lackluster. Take it as you will. See you around. Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.